Good morning, everybody. Matt Moda here to give you my favorite MLB home run predictions for today. We are talking Thursday, April 10th. The Dong report is back in your life. I'm going to have 4 home run picks for you guys to lock in for tonight's MLB betting slate. Pretty confident in the 4 that we have for tonight. We got one yesterday. That's all we need to make some money, so let's talk about that. Thank you to Jackson Chourio for hitting a home run. We got him at plus 500 odds to mash one. We ended the day with a slight profit of up 0.35 units, but that's the beauty of dongs. You get one, you make money. Otani didn't really come close, but the 2 losses on Alonso and Devers, and that's just dong life. That's unfortunately what just happens, especially when you're betting games that are a little bit cold. But Pete Alonso hit one to dead center field, went 405 feet, but did not clear a fence. And then Devers had 2 hard hits that both ended up being doubles. Neither of them really had the launch angle to be a home run, but 2 doubles. So for those of you that bet 4+ total bases, you were able to cash out on Rafael Devers. So I understand that there is some logic to that. I'm just doing dongs here, but hey, when we can make money, that's fine. It had been a little bit of a rough patch on the dong report recently, so it is nice to get one to go yard. That now brings our total profit on the year. We are up 6.71 units on the entire season. Our ROI is about 46%, which is amazing. That's not going to continue. You know, there was a stretch where our ROI was like 116%. I told you that wasn't going to continue, but as long as we're in the green, I'm feeling good. The beauty of home runs, I've bet, 48? I've won 13. I've lost 35, and yet we're up 46.42 units. I normally play these for about a quarter unit or sometimes a little bit more, like 0.4. If you just put a unit flat on them, you'd obviously be up more, but betting a unit on dongs is a little bit risky. But regardless, I'm very happy with how this season has gone so far for the dong report. And let's get into today's pick. So as I mentioned, I'm going to have 4 for you guys. The biggest tool that I'm going to use is Ballpark Pal, my favorite MLB tool. I use them for home runs. You can use them for a lot more. So I highly recommend checking them out. I put a link to Ballpark Pal in both the description and the pinned comment. And you can get 10% off of the month or 15% off for the year as well. Regardless, going through Ballpark Pal, there's only 6 games, so it's not a great slate in terms of just total volume. And we got some gross weather games as well. I mean, a -35 here, a -38 here, and -22 here. We do have 2 positive games, which is good. Obviously, weather is, as much as it's annoying to talk about, and people probably don't enjoy me talking about the weather, it does matter a lot for home runs. You know, there's a reason why the last week home runs were down compared to the first week. It's because the weather has gotten colder across the country. That's just kind of how things go. When it gets cold, the dongs aren't as good. That's just unfortunately how it works. Regardless, my first play is admittedly in one of these gross weather games. I'm going right back to Rafael Devers. I'm taking Rafael Devers to hit a home run. I was able to get him I did get him at plus 425. Looks like that's now plus 400 at ESPN Bet. I would still take it there. Would still put a quarter unit on him at that price as well. So yes, Rafael Devers did not hit a home run. Yes, it's a gross game. I'm okay with that. I mean, you look at his game yesterday. Let me zoom in a little bit here. So this is Baseball Savant, which is where I use, there are 2 websites, 3 where I use for like a lot of raw data. And then I use Ballpark Pal for a lot of like projections and stuff. So Rafael Devers yesterday had 2 hard hits. He had a double. That was 110 off the bat, had an 18-degree launch angle, just needed that bad boy to be a little bit higher. And then another one, 98.7 miles per hour off the bat, so still considered a hard hit. Anything that is 95 and above is considered a hard hit. 20-degree launch angle, which is a little bit better, but with the cold weather, he needed to hit this one about 110 in order for it to have a 20-degree launch angle and still clear fence. What's important about this is that Rafael Devers has been absolutely on fire at the plate. Everybody clowned him when he talked about not wanting to move off of third base, and then he started the year horrifically. His last 6 games, and really his last 9, which is also a very nice number, he's been absolutely on fire. I mean, 3 hard hits, 2 hard hits. So 1 back on about like 6 days ago, so not so great there. But then 3, 4, 3, 2, 2. As long as they're getting 2 miles or 2 hard hits per game, that's kind of what I'm looking for. He's smoking the baseball. You go to his barrels. You got like in a 3-game stretch, he had 5 barrels. He hasn't had any in the last 2 games, but still he's been on fire there. Only got one of these guys to be a home run. And some of the hits that he's had, the home runs are going to start to come. Now, maybe that just happens when it is warmer. And that's the issue here is I'm betting a game that's too cold. But when a guy's mashing a baseball like this, I'm good going with him even in a not so great weather game because the matchup is phenomenal. Going up against Chris Bassett of the Blue Jays. Strong advantage in favor of Devers +8, not quite a +10, but still obviously favors the batter. It's a B matchup for Devers, a D matchup for Bassett. The biggest thing for Devers is his history against Chris Bassett is phenomenal. Now, Bassett typically isn't a dong guy. We look at the release point, A+ horizontally, A- vertically, so that's good. The biggest thing here is Bassett throws a sinker majority of the time. Now, Devers is actually really good against sinkers from righties. And if you look at his pitch type splits, Devers, for sinkers in general, it's actually not that good. Like we're looking at ISO rate here. This is on FanGraphs. And we look at it for the sinker. It's historically pretty low, the sinker ISO rate. But against right-handed pitching specifically, he mashes sinkers. So just something to keep in mind with Devers. And Bassett isn't typically a dong guy because, sinker pitchers are contact pitchers. Normally those aren't home runs. But look at how Devers has performed against Chris Bassett. 11 at-bats over the last 3 years. 6 hits, 2 home runs, another 2 doubles, 2 singles, and then he struck out twice. He's just mashed, absolutely mashed Chris Bassett. And even some of the home runs that he hit, like he was a little bit unlucky to have one that wasn't a home run. It was a double that was hit last year. And also last year he hit a home run off of him. And the double that he hit traveled 384 feet, was 106 miles per hour off the bat. He just hit it to dead center field, so it wasn't a home run. But Devers has smoked this guy in the past. And even yesterday, you look at the game here. Kevin Gausman pitched an absolute gem. 8 innings pitched, 4 hits, only, 5 hard hits, and struck out 10. You know who had a really good game yesterday? Who had half of those hits? That would be Rafael Devers, the only guy on the Red Sox who had more than 1 hard hit, and he smoked 2 of them. 110 miles per hour off the bat is absolutely annihilated. So I feel really good about going back to Rafael Devers, as long as it's kind of like with Jackson Chourio, who did come through, and with Pete Alonso, who did not come through. But as long as these guys are matching the baseball, I feel good about going right back to them the next day. So Rafael Devers, that is our first play. Next up, I'm going with Logan O'Hoppe to hit a home run. This one is best offered it was also at +425. Let's just make sure that bad boy hasn't changed. Let's see. Actually, you can get a better price. So one bet, you're getting worse odds. 1 bet, you're getting better odds. That's +450 odds at ESPN Bet. You could also wait on Logan O'Hoppe because if you look at the odds screen here, right now FanDuel and Fanatics don't have odds on Logan O'Hoppe. Now he's going to play. He got the day off 2 days ago, which we're going to talk about. But you can get 450 right now, or you can wait and you possibly can get a better price on ESPN Bet. I'm tracking it at the number I officially sent out to my Tails account, which was +425. So even though we're getting positive CL or not negatives, even though you guys can get a better price, I just track it at what I send it out. That's the fairest way to do it. But you might be able to wait and get a better price. If not, I'm totally good if you guys just want to lock it in at +450. So Logan O'Hoppe, he's one of the rare guys who I'm betting, even though he did not have a hard hit in his last game. He had 0 in his last game. Now this one's a little bit misleading because 2 nights ago he had the day off. You see he pinch hit. So he only had 1 at bat. He actually got a single in that at bat, but I'm not going to be scared off of the fact that he didn't get a hard hit when he pinch hit. Prior to that, he had been hitting the ball really, really well. 3 hard hits prior to that. 2, so 1, so a little bit lower than what we would like, and then 2 the game before that. This is a really good 4-game stretch. And more importantly, he had 4 barrels in all 4 of those games as well. So if you're hitting the ball hard, but you're also putting the ball in the air, I can accept a little bit of a lower hard hit rate when that ball is going in the air. And you look at the launch angle here. 28.4 degrees is perfect for guys that were asking to mash home runs. And 7 barrels on the year is phenomenal as well. And O'Hoppe had an awesome start to the year. He hit a home run on opening day, and then he hit a home run in 4 straight games here. He hit a home run. So I'm okay him not hitting a home run on the day where he had the day off and he pinch hit and still got a hit. And yesterday, again, not a great day, but I'm okay with that because of how good he had been prior to that. Another reason why I am okay with that is because of the matchup. Now, Zach Littell, according to Ballpark Pal, is actually not a great matchup, but Logan O'Hoppe has been so much better this season. And maybe it's a small sample size, and he goes back to being the batter that he was previously. I will admit that is a definite possibility. But you look at how O'Hoppe hits the pitch mix of Zach Littell, and I feel very good about him getting one to go yards. What I'm looking at here is Game Day Insights, which is where I look at for very nerdy, specific pitch type splits. That's what I'm looking for. So we're going to Zach Littell. Against right-handed hitters, he throws a slider about 30% of the time and his sinker 25% of the time, and then everything else is less than 20%. So he does have a pretty good pitch mix. But when you look at both sinkers and sliders, and then I'm looking at Logan O'Hoppe and how he has done against them this season, he has crushed these two pitches. And it's both of them. I mean, his last 6 at-bats, so he struck out one of them. So his 6 of his last 7 at-bats were hard hit against these two types of pitches. 102.7 miles per hour off the bat. A 371-foot flyout, 104.5 miles per hour off the bat. Here was a home run. 391 feet, 105 miles per hour off the bat. 98, 99.9, that one was a home run. 103.3 miles per hour off the bat, 404-foot home run. Now, I will admit that this data can be a little bit misleading because this is only on balls put in play or strikeouts, or I should say strike threes that end in at bat. So if he strikes on, if he swings and misses on strike 2, it's not going to show up here. If he fouls the ball off, hits it to the moon, but it's foul, that's not going to show up here. Or he just bloops one foul, that's not going to show up here. This is only showing balls that were put in play or that finished an at bat. Either way, when he gets a hold of one, he sends it to the moon. And you look at his stats here. I mean, 23% barrel rate on these pitches, 66.67% hard hit rate, 2/3 of the time he's hitting the ball hard, 44% fly ball rate. He's putting the ball in the air. That's the most important thing here. Now he's going up against a pitcher in Zach Littell, who's A, not a good pitcher, and B, allows guys to put the ball in the air. Now Zach Littell, I'm looking at his stuff plus. According to FanGraphs, this measures exactly what it sounds like, the quote-unquote stuff of a pitcher, how good their spin rate is, their velocity, their movement, all that stuff. 100 is completely average. He's below average in every single one. I mean, his fastball is really bad. His sinker is really bad. I think this is a splitter, if I remember correctly. Of course, it won't show me. But then his slider is also really bad. Now, he's got decent location, so his overall stuff isn't terrible. But, I mean, when he puts the ball in the strike zone, and his actual movement on his pitches are terrible. He just does a good job pinpointing it. But not a good pitcher. And you look at his home run per 9 the last couple of years. So he's been good so far this year. Granted, it's a tiny sample size. I mean, it's 13 innings. But last year, 1.27. That's pretty bad. The year before, 1.30. That's pretty bad. 1.62. That's pretty bad. And you look at the splits here. Admittedly, he's the kind of guy who you do want to target. Actually, no, I'm thinking of a different one. And he's no worse against righties versus lefties. I mean, last year gave up 10 home runs to righties, 12 to lefties, but in what, like 70 fewer at-bats. His home run per 9 against righties was a little bit higher, and his advanced stats were about the same between the two. So the righty versus righty thing doesn't scare me off. But Logan O'Hoppe to hit a home run, plus 425 odds at 450 now at ESPN Bet. That's play number 2. Next up, you guys probably guessed it, I'm going right back to Jackson Chourio to hit a home run. What he's been doing at the plate recently is absolutely insane. He is at plus 500 odds at DraftKings, or 550, excuse me. Let's see if that's still there. Yep, plus 550 odds at DraftKings. Good to go there. Put a quarter unit on that bad boy. So he hit a home run yesterday. He did hit one 2 days ago. But let's just look at his hard hits in the last 2 games. So we're going off of this game yesterday. The Brewers scored 17 runs. So, yeah, that's a lot. We look at his exit velocity, 105.9, terrible launch angle, grounded into a double play. That's okay. 102.8, traveled 413 feet, was a home run. That's good. And then he had another double. That was 100.2 miles per hour off the bat, 25-degree launch angle, traveled 367 feet, was a home run in 24 of 30 stadiums. He almost hit 2 home runs last night. So that's 3 hits yesterday that were 100+ miles per hour off the bat. One of them was a home run. Let's look at how we did on Tuesday. We're going to the same thing. Baseball Savant. We're looking at his average exit velocity. We're filtering it by the fastest pitches. Look who had the 3 fastest hits in terms of exit velocity in the entire game. Jackson Chourio, 108, 106.9, 106.1. And one of them should have been a home run. It traveled 414 feet. Just didn't clear a fence because he hit it to dead center. Got a triple off of that bad boy. Mashing the baseball. Has a good matchup against a bad pitcher in Ryan Feltner. A- matchup for Jackson Chourio. It's a +7. So again, not normally I try to look at +10s, but I'm so good with this one because the issue is that it's a pretty good home run matchup pretty bad home run matchup for Ryan Feltner. Now, Feltner is kind of similar to Chris Bassett in that he's actually kind of a contact pitcher as opposed to a dong guy. Like, he's not a terrible home run per nine. Granted, he's been bad this year, but the year before, he wasn't terrible. Was decent 2 years ago, and then his first 2 years in his career was not good. But he's similar to Zach Littell in that his stuff is not good. I mean, you look at his stuff plus across the board, 63, 85, 88. The only one that's that's above average is his curveball, and he barely throws that. And he throws that 10% of the time. Granted, this is considered an F according to Ballpark Pal, so two different sources tracking two different things, but below average across the board. And it's one of the rare games that's positive from a home run perspective, plus 1%. I meant to mention this when I talked about Logan O'Hoppe, but it's another plus weather game. Steinbrenner Field is tiny, especially to right field, which granted, that's going to help a righty more than it's going to help, or excuse me, this is going to help a lefty more than a righty, but it's still a tiny park. And it's positive for a weather game. So play number 3, Jackson Chourio to hit a home run, plus 550 odds at DraftKings. And then our third and final pick of the video, we're actually sticking in the same game here. We're going with Brenton Doyle to hit a home run. He's at plus 600 odds at DraftKings. Let's make sure that is still available. Plus 600 on him is insane. I think this is way, way too high for Brenton Doyle. Again, plus for weather perspective, because we're playing this game at Coors, that's always good. And he is kind of similar to Logan O'Hoppe, where if you look at his game logs, he did not have a good day at the plate yesterday. No hard hits, no barrels, not a good day. Prior to that, he had been on fire. I mean, you look at his last 5 games, 2 hard hits, 3, 2, 3, 3. I mean, that's what, 14 hard hits in his last 5 games heading in to yesterday. So I can accept someone having a bad day at the plate when they're on fire prior to that. I mean, 3 barrels in that 5-game stretch as well. That's really, really good. And the pitcher he's going up against, Quinn Priester, isn't somebody that should be in the major leagues. And I'm not saying that to be disrespectful. The Brewers pitching rotation is just an absolute shambles. They just traded for this guy, and they just need guys to start. He's bounced around different teams. He's bounced around between the MLB and AAA. All I know is that when this guy has pitched in the MLB, he's pretty much gotten rocked. 2.16 ERA when he was on Pittsburgh 2 years ago. 1.27 last year isn't terrible, but all his advanced stuff is not good. I mean, ERA, expected ERA, FIP, xFIP. Go down to his Sierra, 4.14 is really, really bad. He is admittedly more of a ground ball pitcher as well. So that's kind of similar to, I mean, a lot of these guys are more ground ball pitchers. I mean, you go to his pitch type, sinker, but it's an F. I mean, a sinker that doesn't sink, I call that a stinker. And Brenton Doyle is kind of one of those young guys who Ballpark Pal doesn't have a ton of data off of him, so he's not going to show as amazing stats as he's been this year. Granted, it is obviously a small sample size. But Brenton Doyle, who's been on fire in a bad pitching matchup, it's an A matchup for Doyle. It's a +9 advantage in favor of the batter, a D matchup for the pitcher. All that stuff sounds good. So that is my 4th and final pick of the video. And that's all we got. So 4 official dongs for you guys to lock in. The best odds, if you want to parlay all of them together, is going to be on DraftKings. The next best is going to be ESPN Bet. If all 4 of them hit a home run, we'll profit exactly 5 units. If one of these guys hits a home run, we will be green for the day. I would like to get all 4. Let's hope that happens. I appreciate you guys for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out Ballpark Pal. Put a link to them in both the description and the pinned comment. I also put a link to my Tails account as well, which is just where I send out all my plays if you want to get them sent to you early, so you don't want to wait until odds change or watch the videos or anything like that. I put a link to Baseball Savant. I put a link to Fangraphs. But that's all we got. So appreciate everybody for watching. Make sure to bet responsibly and have a good one.